Rivian just revealed how the R2’s structural battery pack works, and the details go deeper than expected. Engineers sat down inside Rivian's Plymouth, Michigan facility to walk through this brand new architecture in detail. What followed was one of the most detailed technical breakdowns of a modern EV battery pack on camera. The R2 platform is a complete departure from R1, built around new cell chemistry and structure. Every decision traces back to one goal: cutting cost and weight without customers noticing any difference. The battery pack sits at the center of this story, built around a 4695 cell format. That replaces the smaller 2170 cells that were used previously in the R1 platform's pack. There are 7,776 of these larger cells packed carefully into the entire new R2 architecture. Engineers joked that adding one more cell would land exactly on 7,777, a nod to their flashlight. This structural pack actually forms the floor of the vehicle itself, not just a housed component. That means the cell volume sits directly beneath where your feet and seats are positioned. The pack is not simply housed inside the car, it is fundamentally part of the car's skeleton. That distinction matters enormously for how loads travel through the entire vehicle during a crash. Engineers explain the pack absorbs real crash energy, rather than sitting passively inside a shell. Two longitudinal beams run through the pack, engineered to handle around 120 kilonewtons of frontal force. That load gets mitigated deliberately, protecting the cells from being compromised during a frontal collision. Side impacts get handled differently, using what engineers called an inverted tub design for the enclosure. That shape naturally creates space between the cells and the outer edge of the car. Combined with extra internal structure, this gap helps absorb side pole and barrier impacts safely. Seats also play a surprising structural role here, something most drivers would never expect at all. Bolts run down from the roof through the body directly into the battery pack itself. The seats then add another important structural layer right on top of that connection point. This ties the entire cabin together as one single unified structure during a crash event. Nothing in this vehicle exists in isolation anymore. Everything works together mechanically as a whole. One interesting reveal involved comparing this design directly to competitor battery architectures already on the road. Engineers admitted the layout initially looked similar to designs used in the Tesla Model Y. That similarity, they explained, comes from convergent engineering rather than any direct copying or inspiration. Extensive benchmarking absolutely happened during development, but purely to understand where the industry was heading. Every actual design decision on this pack was engineered specifically around what R2 itself required. A particularly clever detail involved how engineers reclaimed wasted vertical space inside the entire pack. By eliminating redundant layers that existed separately in the body and battery, they saved space. Engineers saved exactly 7 millimeters of vertical space through this smart structural elimination process overall. Rather than leaving that space unused, they split it between two different functional benefits for the vehicle. The first benefit goes toward ground strike protection, since Rivian vehicles handle genuine off-road driving. Extra deflection space lets rocks and obstacles contact the underbody without threatening pack integrity or function. That allowed engineers to cut cost and weight in the underbody without losing off-road capability. The second benefit went toward improved venting space around the larger 4695 cells used here. More venting room simplifies the overall thermal strategy across the entire battery pack system as well. It also lets Rivian reduce the total number of pressure release valves required inside the pack. 7 millimeters, split two ways, delivered real engineering value from what would have been wasted space. When asked about the hardest challenge in building this entirely new pack, engineers answered honestly. Sealing the ceiling against water intrusion was expected to be the toughest problem to solve. Rivian's off-road and water-fording targets meant the ceiling had to handle serious water pressure. Engineers developed a single planar sealing approach used across both the body and pack sides. That robust single-plane seal actually performed better than expected once real testing began in earnest. Ironically, the sealing challenge feared most turned out fairly manageable once development moved forward overall. The tougher problem became managing countless crash load scenarios across this fully integrated structural system. It wasn't one single crash mode causing trouble, but the sheer complexity of every mode at once. Balancing cost, weight, and safety across dozens of collision scenarios proved genuinely difficult throughout development. Executing the Powerhouse module presented its own distinct set of engineering headaches during development as well. Engineers had to take what previously existed as 5 separate boxes wired together with cabling. All of that got consolidated into one tightly packaged unit accessible beneath the rear seat. This single change reduced high-voltage cabling costs by roughly 70% compared to R1. Every power electronics component and the rear zonal controller now live inside this Powerhouse unit. That consolidation reflects Rivian's broader philosophy for R2. Cut parts wherever customers won't notice the difference. Nothing inside the actual cell volume requires servicing at any point in the vehicle's life. Everything technicians might ever need to access lives inside that single Powerhouse compartment instead of elsewhere. This was intentional from day one of the program, engineers explained, not an accident at all. Because thousands of individual cells exist inside this pack, some level of failure is expected. With larger format cells, losing serviceability at the individual cell level isn't acceptable at all. The pack gets assembled essentially upside down, with cells and modules dropped in first before potting. That potting material actually bonds structurally to the outer enclosure, adding real stiffness to the pack. Because of that bond, the pack becomes fundamentally non-serviceable at the individual cell level going forward. Rigorous validation and verification testing happens before potting locks everything permanently into place inside the pack. Modern vehicle development increasingly relies on virtual validation before any physical prototype gets built or tested. Rivian's engineering teams broke the vehicle down carefully into subsystems and individual components for analysis. That granular approach builds strong predictive confidence at the component level before scaling upward again later. Engineers explain that understanding every small piece thoroughly makes the whole system more reliable overall too. Various tools support this process, some powered by artificial intelligence, others built more traditionally through simulation. Even with extensive digital validation, physical testing still revealed unexpected results during development of the vehicle. Thousands of assumptions get baked into every simulation model, and not everything translates perfectly into reality. Engineers acknowledged chasing down several genuinely tricky failure modes once physical testing began on real prototypes. Body, battery, chassis, and seat structures working together made isolating problems considerably more complicated during testing. A closer look at the front of the pack reveals some genuinely unusual engineering choices. Unlike competitor packs featuring one large front casting, Rivian's design uses 2 separate pieces instead here. These castings also bolt onto the pack rather than welding, an unusual choice for manufacturers. Underneath, unique stepped geometry serves very specific structural purposes not obvious to anyone at first glance. Manufacturing variation between the body and battery pack required a uniquely engineered joint design to manage it. That joint needed to stay structurally tight despite normal variance across thousands of vehicles produced overall. Beyond managing variation, these castings also needed to behave differently across different types of collision. Certain shapes were deliberately engineered to fracture predictably under very specific loading conditions during a crash. Other geometry stays firmly in place instead, transferring load appropriately during other collision scenarios entirely too. This required carefully balancing stiffness, strength, and controlled fracture behavior across many collision types simultaneously overall. Every stepped feature exists intentionally, tuned precisely so fracture mechanics behave correctly in each scenario. These structural steps also help create extra crush space during impacts without endangering the cells. Extra stroke becomes available within the system, keeping critical components protected and away from occupants. Engineers confirmed this was absolutely part of the intended design philosophy behind these stepped features. With the battery pack explained, conversation shifted naturally toward the completely redesigned front suspension architecture next. Where R1 used semi-active dampers and full airbag suspension, R2 simplifies things considerably across the board. Engineers moved instead to coil springs, a steel anti-roll bar, and a McPherson strut layout overall. Despite this simplification, engineers promised ride quality would still feel genuinely impressive to drivers once tested. Front subframe design turned out considerably more complex than most people would ever assume from outside. Subframes must stay compatible across front drive, rear drive, and all-wheel drive configurations at once easily. They also manage crash energy absorption, balancing competing functions without unnecessarily increasing mass or cost. Engineers described these priorities almost jokingly, noting how maximizing function while minimizing weight never stops. One clever detail involves how R2 switches automatically between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive smoothly too. The front drive unit disconnects entirely during normal driving, biasing the vehicle toward rear-wheel drive. When conditions call for extra traction, a front clutch engages smoothly without driver intervention required at all. Engineers noted this represents their third generation of this system, and it performs remarkably well. Part consolidation shows up here too, with control arm mounts joined directly to the drive unit. Fewer components mean lower cost and reduced complexity without compromising actual suspension performance meaningfully at all. Material choices throughout the suspension shifted significantly compared to the previous R1 generation vehicles built earlier. Several components previously made from aluminum, including control arms and subframes, now use stamped steel. This single material shift delivered nearly a 49% cost reduction across the chassis structure. Surprisingly, this steel-heavy approach didn't add weight the way most people would naturally expect it to. Careful optimization throughout the system actually resulted in an 8% weight reduction overall as well. Maintaining genuine Rivian driving character while cutting cost required extremely deliberate engineering choices throughout the geometry. Tie rods were pushed outward toward the brakes as far as thermally possible within packaging. Steering rack position relative to wheel center was carefully optimized to maximize mechanical advantage throughout steering. Even the McPherson strut performs dual duty, effectively operating partially as an upper control arm. Every one of these decisions helped preserve genuinely engaging handling, despite considerable cost and weight cuts. Certain suspension parts were also engineered to fracture predictably during specific off-road impact events on purpose. A machined casting and forged part on the outboard side break away cleanly under load. Engineers confirmed each fracture point behaves slightly differently, tuned to manage kinematics during real impacts. How these joints ultimately fail directly affects how the entire suspension behaves during that scenario. Drive unit packaging inside the front frunk revealed another genuinely clever engineering solution worth noting. Most competitor drive units place the inverter directly on top of the motor assembly itself instead. Rivian instead relocated the inverter to the side of the drive unit entirely, maximizing frunk space. This required developing an entirely new motor controller board designed specifically for this geometry in-house too. Vertical integration made this packaging flexibility possible, since Rivian controls nearly every component directly in-house here. Noise and vibration considerations also played a significant role in shaping this packaging decision throughout development. Drive units can behave somewhat like speakers, generating harmonic frequencies that can reach the cabin. Engineers considered both structure-borne and airborne noise paths, while finalizing this integrated packaging solution simultaneously overall. Something as simple as frunk space ultimately influenced circuit board layout inside the inverter itself too. That kind of cross-disciplinary complexity isn't something every automaker manages to pull off during development. Packaging teams, design teams, attribute teams, and structural teams all collaborated closely for years throughout development. One engineer credited this success not to any single person, but to countless coordinated decisions. That collaborative culture, they suggested, shapes outcomes more meaningfully than individual engineering genius ever could. A small detail near the front motor mount sparked curiosity during the walkthrough discussion that day. It was a looped bracket, resembling a possible lifting point for manufacturing or service purposes overall. Engineers confirmed it really was designed specifically for lifting. Nothing more mysterious involved there at all. Small details like this reveal just how much thought went into even overlooked components throughout the vehicle. Throughout this conversation, one consistent theme kept resurfacing regardless of which system engineers discussed at any time. Cost reduction throughout R2 never came at the expense of anything customers would actually notice. Bill of materials costs came down significantly across nearly every major system compared to R1. Yet touchpoints, performance, and overall driving character stayed fully intact throughout this optimization process entirely. Engineers who drove both R1 and R2 extensively insisted the newer platform feels genuinely exciting. Spirited driving, daily usability, and dependable off-road capability were treated as non-negotiable requirements throughout the program. Protecting that driving experience, engineers explained, has remained a core principle since Rivian's earliest days. Taken together, this deep dive reveals how thoroughly integrated modern EV engineering has become across every system. Battery, body, chassis, and seats no longer function as separate parts bolted together during assembly. Instead, they behave as one unified structural system engineered collaboratively from the program's start years earlier. That philosophy, more than any single component discussed today, may define what makes R2 different. It represents years of coordinated decisions across dozens of specialized engineering teams working toward one goal. And based on everything shared during this walkthrough, that patient approach appears to be paying off.